So I've had to re-record this several times. I'm trying not to be an emotional wreck because, like many people, I have been playing this game now for years, 6 years of my life. And in another way to kind of look at this, to put this, when I started YouTube, we were playing this in Dokkan and a couple other games. I wasn't really thinking of YouTube like a means to an end. It was just a way to share my love of video games with you guys. But it has become so much more because of this game, because of you, and because of my takeaway here. Um, Here's the thing, guys. It sucks the game is ending, but here's what I want you to do: go out tomorrow, take 10, 12, 15 bucks, whatever it is, chump change, especially if you played a gotcha game. Chump change. Go to a bookstore. Find the Estrella Record Volume 1 novel. Even if you don't collect the light novels, if you don't read the light novels, pick up that novel, put it on a shelf somewhere sacred. Because if it weren't for you, if it weren't for me, if it weren't for all of us as a community, that book would not exist. That book only exists in its form because we played this little gotcha game and Amori needed to make a grandiose. I mean, it is a grandiose story for the game's anniversaries. It started off with Argonaut. It moved on to the Estrella record. We got the Knights of Fianna. Even I would even say 80s Vesta, even though that's not necessarily canon. Still a fantastic story. The anniversary stories in this game have been phenomenal. And while they may have existed in one form or another prior to the game, fact remains they would never have come into the. At least my understanding is most of these manuscripts were just that. They weren't really going anywhere prior to the game. And because the game made them canon and put them in the hands of game players and now franchise lovers of Damaji, we now have fully realized canonical novelizations of that same story. Maybe a few changes here and there, but nevertheless, ultimately the same story that we enjoyed for our anniversary events. And no one could take that away. I can't think of any other gotcha game out there, but very few video games in general that have expanded on the lore of their franchise the way this game has. And it would not have been a thing if it weren't for you. I don't care if you free play the game or if you spend $100 a week on the game. Even the free player has to exist. The free player has to be there for the whale to exist. And let me kind of explain why that is. Ultimately, the more players a game attracts, in this case, in the case of Danmemo, being extremely free-to-play friendly attracts a ton of players. Inevitably, with a surplus of players, you are going to find whales. It just is the natural progression of things. There are people that are going to want every single unit. I did what I could to get, if not all, pretty darn close to all the units. I spent a grand sum on this game. But as a content creator, that's my literal job. And I would not have been able to do it if it weren't for you guys watching at home every single day. So I remain grounded in the reality of who I am and what this means to me, what this game is and what it means to the franchise, and what you guys mean to the franchise itself as well as myself. It's humbling to come to those realizations, but it's also very important, at least to me. I think it is a very important thing to understand and to be realistic about. Um, Because I'm just, at the end of the day, I'm just some middle-aged dude at home playing video games and sharing my hobby with all of you out there. I'm nobody, ultimately. But because of this platform, because of you guys, I now have a place to share my lifelong love of video games. And now my love of Danmachi, which would not have been a thing had it not been for this game. Like, the franchise has taken all new light because of the game, because of what it meant, and because of what is, this immersive story that we have, this huge world that we now have, in so many layers too, solely because of the game. So I guess more than anything else, I want to say a heartfelt thank you to you guys. Thank you to Riot Flyer and the Danmemo team. And thank you to Fujino Omori for producing everything that he produced for this game, especially considering how much other stuff he was doing on the side. Like, just dude's a machine. He can't be human. He is a cyborg at minimum. It is insane the amount that this dude does. But yeah, that's kind of where my thought is right now. We will be back. We have the archive, like I said before. We have Don Caro, whether or not you appreciate that one. But the Danmemo archive is going to continue. We've got weeks of content on that. Plus, I have some JP content, and as I said, vowed to you guys on the stream, I'm going to work hard to get some of that translated, so we have that as well. This is not the end. Maybe the end of the game. It is just the beginning of my service as a fan of Danmachi and as a steward of this game to Danmachi fans coming forward, because that's the whole point now. For the next few weeks minimum, my goal is to make sure I put content from this game into the hands of potential Danmachi fans incoming that may never have otherwise been exposed to all of this. Pretty straightforward, guys. I that's kind of my thoughts at the moment. Thank you guys so much. If you guys have not subscribed, do so. Like I said, we've got so much more coming. Hit that like button on this video if you enjoyed Danmemo even in the slightest. And while I won't be back with more fresh new Danmemo content, we're coming back with the archive. We're coming back with Don Caro. We're coming back with potentially more video games. We have the console game, and regardless of what is coming, I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. So take care of yourselves. Take a day off. And like I said, go buy that novel and think about what the game truly means to you. Because for me, it's way more than a game. This was my existence, my job, and my connection with you guys for 6 years. And that's not hyperbole. That is legit what this game meant to me. Thank you all.